morning. We're going to call this meeting to order of Atascosa County Commissioners Court. It is a regular meeting taking place in the county courtroom, Suite 203. Date is January 24th, 2022. The time is 9:01 a.m. If you would, please stand with me for prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Please bow your heads and pray with us. Father, we just ask that you would grant us your divine presence here today, and that you would give us the wisdom, the court, and all those who participate in this court today, the wisdom to reach good decisions and do positive things for Atascosa County, and that you would bless us in those efforts. In Jesus' name, amen. Please pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Agenda item number 3 is public comments. I don't see any requests for anyone to speak. This is a time for anyone that wishes to speak to address any of the agenda items or any comments or about the county that need to be brought at this time. Is there anyone that has a form that has not turned one in at this time? Being none, we'll move on to number 4. Don Penny and Roger Garcia discuss and take action concerning an update on COVID-19 situation, needs, and response. Good morning,
Judge. Good morning,
Penny.
Commissioners, ladies. As of Sunday, for our TSA area, which the state is divided into sections, ours were in the P area. Lab confirmed that we had 1,047 new cases from last week. The adults in the general population in the hospitals in that region, that means 757 people, adults, are hospitalized with COVID. 246 of those are in ICU, and 44 are pediatric patients. The admit for the last 24 hours was 175 patients, and that's throughout our TSA area. Right now, we are sitting at 15.8% of the people that are going to the hospital are being admitted for COVID symptoms and signs. Atascosa, right now we have 9,258 that were positive throughout the whole pandemic. 215 of those were fatalities. 2,312 were probable cases, which means they were more than likely positives too. And our average right now is about 70 per day. But them numbers are changing because last week I tested 30 people and 15 of those people were positive. Right now, our hospital down here, I don't have the numbers for them, but for the month of January, our ambulance met 6 aircraft at the hospital, at the airport, and brought patients to this hospital. Most of them came from up north, Hereford, up in the Panhandle. They were sent down here because we had available rooms. So, like I said, 6 of those, we went and picked up at the airport and brought over here.
How many?
6.
6?
Yes. We even had some from New Mexico that they couldn't find hospitals that had ICU beds, so they shipped them down here. So the pandemic is hitting. I have had 4 of my people out on COVID. I just got another one yesterday that she had to go home with COVID. And these were fully vaccinated with boosters, and they still caught the COVID. But, that's kind of a given for us because here we are locked up in the back of an 8x10 box with people with it. So, I really can't say that the booster didn't work, but, this lady was, my tech was back there with a COVID positive. So even with all our precautions, we still catch it. Other than that, our PPE supply is very well, we're good. We have nothing that we're in shortage of. We have extra if needed. Other than that, that's all I have for you. Any questions?
thank you very much, and thank you for holding together the ambulance service with your with the people you have out.
We're doing it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And we appreciate your help last Monday with the testing.
Oh, not a problem. I managed to.
Well, I think we've got that.
Yes, we do.
Covered
I
now.
think we got it covered out now. I didn't have, I had a few over there, but mostly we're all county employees and their families, so.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very
Yep.
much. Number 5 is Roger Garcia, discuss and take appropriate action to adopt an order activating the 60-day countywide burn ban going into effect January 25th through March 25th, 2022, due to low rainfall and dry conditions creating a fire risk, and grant permission for the fire marshal to lift the ban should the conditions change without returning to court. See attached. Roger's his father been in the hospital for a couple of weeks with COVID, and he's taking him home this morning, so he can't be here.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by who got the second in? Commissioner Riley. Oh, yeah.
He did.
Commissioner Riley. And any discussion? Naturally, the day we do that, it's drizzling out there, but we have no idea what that'll impact on it, on the conditions. So Roger will watch that. So we have a motion, a second. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, number 6 is Deborah Edmar. How do I say that? Edmar? Okay. And we have Brent Salter. Hi, Brent.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning,
And
Commissioners.
Dr. Don Stockman. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
My name is Brent, and I am Program Director for Baptist Health Foundation of San Antonio. We're joined today by Dr. Dawn Stockton, who is President of the Foundation's board. We're grateful for her service. Our foundation gets to provide around $8.5 million of funding every year to Bexar County and the 7 contiguous counties around Bexar. We are always eager for new opportunities to support the work taking place here in Atascosa. One of the organizations we get a fund is CASA of South Texas. We're grateful for Joni being here today representing one of our grantees. Every year, the foundation looks to recognize an individual or a group that is making a significant impact for community health in our greater San Antonio region and the outlying areas. And in 2021, the foundation said the work of the county, the judge, the commissioners, the staff to promote health as we try to navigate these challenging days of COVID-19 is something that needs to be acknowledged and for appreciation to be expressed. And so the 2021 Spirit of Health Award does this. It recognizes the great work that has taken place here in Atascosa County and the other 7 counties that we're able to fund. So today, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Dawn Stockton to read this award and to present it to you all. We'll give it to Judge Hurley on behalf of everyone working to promote health in this community.
We certainly can't express our gratitude enough about all that's being done throughout all of the counties. And this was our way of saying, okay, it's a global effort. It's not just one person, it's not one group, it's a whole village. And so we just wanted to honor you with this. The actual award says Baptist Health Foundation of San Antonio 2021 Spirit of Health Award presented to Atascosa County for outstanding leadership and courage in the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'd just like you to have this.
Well, would you maybe whoever here, the 2 of you, maybe come back and stand behind us and take a picture with us with this, or I'll stand with you behind the commissioners. So we get to keep this.
Just you get to keep
Give and take back like last time.
Yeah, well, I attended another function.
that breathing down your
We'll
neck?
give that
I'm
back.
sorry.
We need that for later.
So it was a give and take.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate all that you do here. Brent wants to have the last word, and that's good.
One final word is with this award, a donation is made to a nonprofit serving Atascosa County. We are very pleased that this donation is being made to the Interagency Council, Atascosa Interagency Council, and so we're grateful for their work and very pleased to send money this year.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Maybe perhaps Gloria would like to tell us what the Interagency Council does?
Again.
Gloria's never had a problem being called on to speak without a script, I know.
Well, basically, we are a group of over 50 agencies, all of them provide services to residents of Atascosa County. This was formed in 1999, and basically it was because all of our agencies were trying to find services to help, okay? And so we kind of tagged on and said, okay, you provide services whether you're San Antonio group, because a lot of those get funds, and whether or not you're here, we want you to be a part. So we meet the second Thursday of every month. This year, we just finished distributing $55,000 worth of grant funds to help people with utilities, rent, you name it, okay? There's some miscellaneous things as well, helping people get their birth certificates if they don't have it, because they can get services, etc. So basically, that's what we do. It's all volunteer, nobody gets paid. And
Well,
that's
the
part of our job.
and the Interagency Council doesn't have a lot of funds.
No,
So
we do not.
I thought this would be very very helpful to you, but, and really, poor Gloria, I need to finish that sentence. It's not poor Gloria, it's poor Gloria. Every time somebody calls me and they need help, obviously the county is very limited on what they can do in a charitable aspect, very limited. And so Gloria gets a lot of referrals from me because and the beauty of what AIC does is that they interact, which is what the word is, interact with all the other agencies, and she knows them all, so she's a real source to refer people to throughout the county. And she helps a lot of people. They all do. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate all they went through a litany of the money they spend with our agencies in Atascosa County, and it's a lot of money, and we appreciate the Baptist Health Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 7, Linda Burris and Lee Ricks discuss and take appropriate action concerning renewing property and casualty insurance for 2022 through Ricks Insurance. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to present your property casualty renewal for 2022.
Thank you.
While Linda's passing those out, I just want to mention that every few years we search the marketplace and make sure that we have the best product at the best price, and we search the marketplace, and no one could be competitive with the Travelers Insurance Company on the business. So we're recommending the Travelers renewal. I'm going to let Linda go over it in detail. We do need to discuss 1 or 2 risk management recommendations we have before we vote on the final. But we've already implemented several risk management practices with the county, one of which is dropping off the old vehicles for full coverage. That's a very prudent program that the county has in place. So that'll move up a year, and we'll drop another subset of older vehicles off of physical damage coverage, save you a little bit of money there. And we'll go over a couple of other exposures we've encountered that we don't have coverage on, that we need to talk about whether you want it or not. Okay.
One of the risk management recommendations we have made is to get a quote for pollution liability on the fuel tanks that are at the commissioners' yards. And we are waiting some information from y'all, the commissioners, to quote that. So as soon as we get that information, then we'll start working on quotes. One of the things that changes this year, the county has had $1 million in cyber liability coverage. They are renewing it at $250,000 instead of $1 million because we need to get some more security into the policies and procedures. In particular, what's called multi-factor authentication. You've got some, but there's more that needs to be done in that area. So I'm getting other quotes for cyber to see if we can get it back up to $1 million from somebody other than Travelers. But all of them are looking for basically the same policies and procedures for cyber. So we're working on that, but right now it's renewing at $250,000 instead of $1 million. One of the things that, to help save a little bit of money, Lee talked about reducing changing the age of vehicles that automatically have physical damage coverage, which we're doing as we do every year. But another thing, you have a $1,000 deductible on the comprehensive and collision coverage on the vehicles that do have physical damage. You can save $10,590 a year by reducing it to $2,500. Increasing it to $2,500. And I went over the number of claims you've had. And Judge, I think I emailed that to you and Tracy about the number of claims you've had in the last 3 years. Last year you had 5 that would have hit this deductible, that would have affected that. The year before that you had 2, and I think the year before that was 3. So overall, over that 3-year period, you would have saved some money to go to a $2,500 deductible. That's something that needs to, when y'all come to a vote on the renewal, that's something we need to include in that motion if you decide to change it, because it is a change in the coverage. The other thing I'm just recommending, it's not a have to, it's not anything huge, but at this point, like the contractor's equipment, you have only coverage on what's scheduled, not on smaller equipment. We can add $100,000 for unscheduled equipment, smaller items that you don't schedule on your equipment list. The additional premium for that is $1,017 a year for $100,000 of unscheduled.
How much?
$1,017. This is all on page 1 of your proposal.
Can you define the smaller equipment?
The things that are maybe $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 that aren't scheduled, and you have a $1,000 deductible on that particular coverage, but if it's a per occurrence deductible. So if something were to happen, a pickup turns over, catches on fire, or something like that, where you have multiple tools and equipment that aren't scheduled on your equipment, that would cover that with the one deductible, not per item. The deductible is per occurrence. Other than that, we increased the property limits, which is the building and contents for the county, from $57,317,039 to $58,808,929. We increased most of the larger buildings by about 4%. All of the buildings are now covered for replacement costs. In the past, we've had some of the older buildings that were covered at actual cash value, but we took some of the older buildings off because they just weren't needed. And so now everything is covered for replacement cost. One of the big changes Travelers made, and we are seeing this across everything we are doing with property coverage, the wind and hail deductible has been increased from $25,000 per occurrence to $50,000 per occurrence. Again, that's something we're seeing because of the storms in the industry-wide, they're increasing that deductible. The contractor's scheduled equipment was increased from $6,177,183 to $6,285,614.
Can we go back to the hail damage?
Yes.
When you say per occurrence, does that mean countywide for all buildings, or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's not a per building, it's per occurrence. The budget exposure increased about 12%. The total number of employees, full-time and part-time, increased by 29. The number of sheriff's officers and jailers decreased by about 3. Number of vehicles increased by 4. We now have 2 drones for the sheriff's office. Previously, travelers would not cover the physical damage. They covered the liability for use of the drones, but they wouldn't do the physical damage. Now they are. So, and it saves $500 to $700 a year to move them off of the policy they were on, which was a higher risk policy, into the traveler's policy. So we save a little bit of money there. As we've mentioned, we increased the year model for automatic coverage on larger trucks with 45,000 gross weight or greater. We went from 2010 to 2011 models will now have automatic coverage. For other vehicles other than emergency, all emergency vehicles, EMS, Sheriff's Department, are automatically covered regardless of their year. All other vehicles, including trailers, will go from 2012 to 2013. The county has an accident policy on volunteers, which you've had for years. I checked with Mr. Penny and they still do have trainees riding along. They don't have the training school, but they are still having trainees ride along with them. Plus, the fire marshal has some volunteers with him. The sheriff's department has some reserves, which I understand occasionally do some work for the county. I know you hold your commission for most of them. So we're, again, recommending the accident renewal. I did get it to come down a little bit from last year. I think Lee mentioned that we had gone to other companies for quotes, but they couldn't come up with anything as competitive as Travelers. And if you look at page 62, that's a premium breakdown comparing last year's premiums to the renewal premiums. And the renewal premiums are based on the current physical damage deductible on the auto and without the unscheduled equipment. So those two things, if you change those, will amend the renewal premium.
So the premium is 61.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 61. I'm sorry, it was 61. Are there any questions?
I have a question,
Yes, sir.
a general question. If I need to make changes, I just email you the differences, is that correct?
Yes, yes. To your equipment or auto or, yes,
Both, yeah.
yes. Drivers, yes.
Okay.
Or if you have any buildings that need to be,
I'm sorry?
or any buildings, if, you know, I know you're getting a new building,
Yes.
so any of those changes, yes, that come up during the year,
Not started construction yet.
yes.
If you'd like a recommendation regarding the 2 options that we proposed, I don't think those were discussed in insurance renewal meeting. I was self-containing for COVID that day to make it self-quarantine. But the increase in the auto deductible from a cost standpoint definitely makes sense. And I would recommend it based on the past 3 years. You would come out better saving the $10,590 than you take the additional exposure. The unscheduled miscellaneous tools, I think that's something that the county can afford to self-insure, but we wanted to present it because the price was so cheap. It's obviously a low hazard, low likelihood that you're going to have a loss of those under the $1,000 deductible, but that's why the premium is so cheap. But that's
And it's got $1,000 deductible?
it's got $1,000 deductible. It's going to cover all your unscheduled property, which you have a lot of, but it's all limited to stuff that's right in the truck, tools, hand tools, and you can have theft claims, you can have fire claims where you might have multiple items damaged, but other than that, it's gonna be little lost ones and twos, and that's part of doing business, and I think the county should save the premium.
See, I think you'd have to start inventorying it, but nobody does inventory with it.
No, I agree with everything. This is something we should cover ourselves.
And so the recommendation is that we raise the deductible to $2,500, which is save us $10,000, $11,000 a year. My feeling is I don't think we need to insure the small tools, but it's up to the commissioners.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I was just, what I was just saying to the commissioner privately was that that's gonna create a whole new inventory procedure, and I bet most of you don't even carry a list of that, and then it's gonna have to be a new process, and I'm not sure, like, I think it's something we can cover ourselves on.
I agree. Every time we find something that's not insured, it could be, we try to give you the options.
No, we appreciate that. We appreciate the options that save money too, very much. So we're talking about, this is showing an increase of 54,000, under, about 53,000 and some, so 53,000, about 53,250.
I'd like to move that we increase the deductible to $2,500 and drop the whole tool.
And will that come out of the 654?
Yes, the 11,000
That's what I said.
for the auto deductible will, and then
Okay.
the unscheduled tools wasn't in there, so it's,
So the motion would be to approve the new policies at 654,140 minus the 2,500, the savings for increasing the deductible to 2,500, and
And the small tools is not in there, correct?
right, right.
No, they're not. Point out you don't have coverage on that, because of what it would cost.
and there are other savings, such as the drone insurance and some others that you're incorporating in this that we're canceling on the other side,
Yes.
but we don't know what that number is.
So most of your premium increase is based on the building values going up, and everybody knows what construction cost is doing. That's affecting every property policy in the United States. And the same thing is happening with auto vehicles. They're more expensive to repair, and so the prices are gonna continue to creep up in those two lines, auto physical damage and property.
And you talked about additional insurance for cyber liability?
Yeah, we're trying to get some additional quotes.
I'm sorry, we have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Motion by Commissioner Knowlton, second by Commissioner Gillespie, excuse me.
We are trying to get some additional quotes. We both feel like that they're gonna require the same protocols for you to have in place. And I wanna mention too, counties are a little bit unique in that a whole lot of your information that you have out there is public anyway. So you don't have the same cyber exposure that a private business has, but you do have some. And I don't know if 250,000 is enough or not, but if we were able to get $1 million before, so we took it, and 250,000 may be adequate for a county. There's a lot of businesses I wouldn't feel like it's adequate for, but it's possible that a public entity with most of the public records doesn't have as much.
The conversation was that we didn't meet the standards, is that what you said?
Right.
Yeah,
You
we
need
discussed
to,
this, we being us, with
you need to improve some policies and procedures.
Justin,
Right.
Yes.
and you're working on it?
Well, can I respond to
No. Of course you can.
the judge sent me this form that we had filled out, Tracy and I, on what is required for multi-factor authentication, certain services. And there's not really a box for not applicable because we don't have certain services that they're asking about, which is why we chose the no option on those. So it's just saying that we need to have a written policy and procedure for multi-factor authentication.
No, I think they were asking that you had the multi-factor authentication for those items that you answered no.
Right, the reason we answered no is because we don't have those services. in
Okay,
place.
then we need, I wasn't aware of that, we need to let the insurance company know. But I was told by the other markets that they're all asking for similar,
Okay.
but we need to let them know if you don't have those services. Yes.
Yeah, we could have written a little addendum to point out why we said no on those questions, mainly just because we don't have those.
I
I
will
think
let-
those were the ones we originally had left blank because they didn't apply to us.
Okay, and then I asked you to answer them, and you did.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I think that's where the confusion came in.
All right, well, I'll definitely let the insurance companies know that, and
Okay.
if we need anything else. There are some, every company I've gone to has asked for their own set of questions,
Right.
which is, I know, a lot of cumbersome, tedious, but
Okay.
cyber is a big issue right
Well, I
now.
understand.
So, they're very careful.
So I recommend that we approve it at the 250,000 limit that we're offered now, and if we're able to increase it up to $1 million again, we will. I don't think it's a matter of premium, I think it's a matter of protocol.
So when we talk about cyber liability, we're talking about ransomware also, right?
Yes, that's included. But the county does, you take credit cards, you take online payments, you have private information for your employees, you have health insurance, all of that, even, that's not public record. So that's what you're protecting, is that hacking for that information.
Didn't we have a case a couple of years ago in one of our large departments where we had ransomware and you were successful at just deleting it and restoring the backup and telling the people to go fly a kite that wanted the money?
It was at the tax office where we do daily backups, and we were able to restore from the backup.
That's why the backups,
And never made contact with the person that was trying to hold us for ransom.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, yeah, and so, but still, it's a liability that's out there. Anything else?
I don't think
If not,
so.
we have a motion and a second on the table. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll be in touch with you on the other items. I'm sure Linda never stops working. And I know, Lee, I don't mean to take credit away from you, but I know that's why, that's why you have Linda.
Mr. Burris, real quick, you had said you were waiting on something for the fuel tanks from the commissioners. What is that? You sent them to each one, or? Yeah, please do.
I have I have a question. I'll bring it up later about the liability on those fuel systems since they're all leased.
Well, then we own.
We own them? Well, then it's our liability.
Plus,
That's my
my
question.
supplier furnishes the tanks, so we still need to have information on that.
Versus the tanks, but if there's a spill, I know most of them are burned, but I don't think all, don't you have a gasoline?
Mine has burned around.
Even the gasoline ones?
No,
still
not the
go to shed?
gasoline, just the diesel.
Diesel, yeah.
Mine are fully contained. I mean, they're-
Mine are too.
And that will help with premium, but it doesn't mean it can't go over. I mean, we've had pollution spills before with other customers.
Sure.
And it's really inexpensive. It's normally, if you meet all the, they've passed inspection, they're burned, the premium should not be significant.
Okay.
And it's just something for you to look at and consider.
Right.
I think there's always an exposure.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to agenda item number 8. Loretta Hawley, discuss and take appropriate action concerning changing the bonds for the chief deputy tax assessor from Vicki Ricks to Laura Robles. See attached invoice and bonds. Good morning, Ms. Hawley.
Good morning. Yes, just what he read. Vicky's no longer there, so I just need to move that bond over.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Perez. And any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. And that, we're going to assume that included, since I have to sign it anyway, that's authorizing me to sign it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, number 9, Margaret Littleton, discuss and take appropriate action to approve addendum 9 to LGS contract and authorize county judge to sign. This is adding another user to the district clerk's office, which they need, and she says she couldn't be here this morning. She has court, and she told me that she had the money in her budget to cover this. Motion by Commissioner, second by Commissioner Riley. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. For the public, LGS is the legal software we use to store court documents and number 10 is Janice Rupel, who also couldn't be here this morning. Discuss and take appropriate action concerning approving the election judges for the Democrat-Republican primary on March 1st, 2022, and they're in your notebook. And so we have a list of the Republican judges and the Democratic judges for, I think that's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 voting locations. Sir?
Yes.
Yes.
In the back.
Okay.
I found it. Motion by Commissioner Perez for approval, second by Commissioner Knowlton. Let's let Commissioner Riley, anyone else have a chance to glance over it, see if there's any discussion or questions? Being none, all those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. And it looks like we all need to sign it, so there'll be a document for all of us to sign at the end of the meeting. And the record should show that that includes the early voting judges that are listed here also. It's not exactly clear in the agenda item, but it's in the documentation with the list of judges. So there's 4 people designated early voting judges. 8 people designated early voting judges because we have 4 early voting places that anybody, any citizen can go vote at any one of them, but just once. That was a joke. Wasn't much of one, but it's a joke. All right. We have a motion and a second. Did we vote? We did vote. Okay. Number 11, Chief Dominguez, discuss and take appropriate action concerning personnel. New employee John Stephen Pena is a vet tech, pay rate tier 3, 2840.61 monthly, salary budget area 012-478-404, physical drug test pending, start date 02/01/2022. Motion by Commissioner Riley, second by Commissioner Perez.
Did he have a position open, or does anybody know?
I'm assuming he did. I'm trying to remember.
Let's see.
Well, that's right, he did.
Transfer?
That's right.
Yep.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay. All right. We have a motion
You
and a
got vet
second.
tech in a jailhouse?
All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 12, Judge Ellison, discuss and take appropriate action concerning personnel. We haven't had many changes over there, so Judge Ellison, Judge Wilson were technically correct in that they didn't need to put this on the agenda to get their employees put on the payroll. But just like the DA, we asked them to please give us consideration of putting this on the agenda for us so that we'd have a clear and public record going to payroll, and we prefer it that way. So this is their cooperation. His existing employee, Jennifer Poppy, resigned, and who's the head coordinator. Existing employee Lori Riley, position court administrator, civil court coordinator 2, pay rate $67381.45 annually. She is taking the spot that Jennifer vacated. Salary budget area 043-400-401. Physical drug test not applicable. Start date 02/01/2022. And existing employee Norma Villanueva, who's moving into the spot with Lori, is position that Lori vacated as position criminal court coordinator 2, pay rate $59071.07 annually. Salary budget area 043-400-402. Physical drug test not applicable. Start date is 02/01/2022. Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Gillespie. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 13, Trent Rowell. Discuss and take action concerning certificate of plat exemption for Larry Samaniego under Article 4.2.3 for 5-acre tract. Does not meet the definition of a subdivision. No common road and driveways 60 feet apart. No common road and driveways are 60 feet apart, described in a deed recorded in document number 191945, official public records of Atascosa County. Good morning, Mr. Rowell.
Good morning. This is a gentleman that I've dealt with before and provided him with my opinion that his proposed subdivision did not meet the definition that we have in the subdivision ordinance, namely there's no common road. Our definition in the subdivision ordinance as it stands is that it's not just when you subdivide property, but you have to be creating something in common, most usually a road, or you have to be packing in your driveways so close that they are less than 60 feet apart. His proposed subdivision did not fall under any of those categories. These are 1-acre lots that he was also, he might have also fell into some of the family exemptions, but he just really didn't fall under the definition. He began transferring some of these lots, trying to get title insurance, and the title company's requesting on behalf of the title company's requesting a certificate of exemption, and I think he's entitled to it.
Where's it located?
Off of Wheeler Road.
Which road?
Wheeler.
Wheeler Road?
That's your.
Yeah.
He's already been out there, and yes, it's a hit. He's already, he's been there. It's stuff that already has water and everything of that nature.
Well, we need a motion and a second for discussion, but
No, yeah.
I haven't seen it, I don't know,
Okay.
I've been down Wheeler Road, but which one is it?
Here, let me give you the.
Let's just go ahead and discussion ahead of the motion, since it's going to happen anyway. Where's Wheeler Road?
Right here.
How far is it from 476, do you know?
No, I do
can I get clarification?
not. Sure.
Okay, so it looks like there's 5 1-acre tracts,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not gonna be able to put his driveways 60 feet apart?
No, he can put his
He can.
driveways. Yes, he
Okay.
can put his driveways 60
Okay.
feet apart. And
He's
he
just
is
not
putting
gonna
his
put a-
driveways 60 feet apart.
He's just not gonna put a private road because
He's not
each
gonna
one
put a
has-
private road because they all face Wheeler Road.
Okay, I got
And
you.
the driveways are, yes, spaced 100 or more feet apart. And
Okay.
the definition of the subdivision says, you're not subdividing unless you have a common road or your driveways are less than 60 feet apart.
Right.
Or you're affecting the drainage, other lots, which this one also does not because it's all self-contained.
So if it's not a subdivision,
The title company, yes, the title company though, because they're a title company, they have to give, even though I wrote them a letter saying he doesn't meet the definition of a subdivision, they want this certificate of exemption, which normally would apply for, it is a subdivision, but it doesn't, we're exempting it because it's family members. You know, that's the one that's most common. We can divide, if you're giving it to, there's a certain degree of relative you can give it to, like sons, daughters, and that would be exempt from this. This really doesn't even meet the definition, but the title company is requesting it. I have no problem giving it to them because it doesn't apply anyway. It's more of just a favor to, not really a favor, but just something so that I can stop getting calls and emails about this. It doesn't meet the definition, and therefore it's exempt from the subdivision regulation.
and you're okay with it?
And I'm fine, I'm okay with it, yes. I wrote a letter about a year ago saying it was exempt, but this is for the title company to reduce the premium on the title insurance.
Because of its size, is there for sure water being serviced to it?
Yes, yes. And I believe
And each piece of this property accesses Wheeler Road.
all of it accesses Wheeler Road, yes. There's no,
So there's also a letter from Benton City saying there's water?
yes.
Okay, that's the question, I think.
Okay. Does anyone wish to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Knowlton. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. 14, Trent Rowell discuss and take appropriate action of approval of contract between Precinct 4 and Richard Pipes regarding exchange of 1,500 feet for portion of CR 424 to straighten and said road, lessee of said land to pay all costs associated with the extension of road, contract prepared by County Attorney's Office. Mr. Rowell?
Okay, let me give you a little background on this. Commissioner Riley contacted me, one of his constituents on Road 424, after they experienced, I don't know, the third or fourth time of someone flying through the curve and going through their fence, offered to exchange some land to straighten the road about 1,500 feet. Commissioner Riley's told him that, you know, that would be done if he would pay for all of it, that the county didn't want to be out any money for doing that. We would supply a water truck and a grader. Other than that, they are to pay all expenses to that. We would need them to deed the land to us, dedicated for road usage. And then if all that's taken care of, we can release the easement on the curve part that's no longer used as a road. This is kind of getting us started. We got to get the survey company out there, but we wanted to bring this to you for approval first. And then I have a contract prepared, but I need to get it to the landowner and make sure that he's fine, because we've really been dealing with
Lessee.
Lessee, yeah. And so I want to make sure that that's all clear, but wanted to approach you first.
Any question?
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Riley for approval,
Second.
second by Commissioner Knowlton.
With the
Discussion.
stipulation that you clarify with the owner.
Yeah, yes. No, we are not going to do anything without the signature of the owner on a contract that says they are paying everything, or else we wouldn't be doing it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand.
I have a question.
Motion carries. Yes, sir, go ahead.
How long is that road gonna be?
1,500 feet.
1,500?
Yeah.
And it's not, it's just a 1,500 feet segment of that road, and so it's taking out the curve and making it straight, yes.
Well, there's a set of cattle pens where that road goes around those pens.
Yeah.
And there's been 3 or 4 incidents where people have gone into those pens and did a lot of damage to that. And and straighten it out and avoid all this problem.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well, we had a vote and motion carried, so thank you, Mr. Rowell.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item 15. Under me, A, discuss and take appropriate action on approving a COVID coverage plan to ensure the sheriff's office can function at full capacity. This will be for those individuals who are working on their day off to cover for someone who is out with COVID and to hire a temporary nurse, pay rate at $35 an hour as needed if nurse employees are out with COVID. Separate timesheets for COVID coverage will be required. This is to be paid out of the American Rescue Plan funds, CSL FRF eligible expenses 012-487-505. The employee COVID coverage, pay rate will be at a time and a half of emergency pay. The rates for these individuals will be jail corrections officer and dispatcher, 32.51 per hour, jail corporal at 33.26, jail sergeant at 36.90, pay patrol deputy at 36.06, patrol sergeant at 37.31. Do we make our effective date on this? Do we need to backdate it?
January 3rd. January 3rd.
It would be for the month, starting
January 3rd? Sorry, what?
January 3rd.
Thank you. And backdating this to January 1 needs to be in the motion.
So moved.
second,
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Riley. Discussion or questions? Although, and I apologize, I think most of you know what's going on here, but just for the public to know, we had COVID is ripping through our departments, and the jail is something that has to stay open, so we have to have enough guards to meet jail standards, and both nurses went out with COVID, so we had to have coverage, and so we made a decision. Sheriff found two, he already got them on, so it's covered, and we just need to approve it and approve it retroactively. So all those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. And B is discuss and take appropriate action on approving temporary part-time employees to assist with COVID testing to be paid from the American Rescue Plan funds. This is a CSL FRF eligible expenses 012-487-505. The pay rate for these individuals will be LV and RN at $35 an hour, EMT and paramedic at $25 an hour. The nurse at juvenile detention she's been absolutely amazing with her willingness to step up and take care of the testing for all county employees, but it takes away from her job. She has never asked for help, but I felt like we should, since we have these funds, I felt like we should, and based on the infection rate right now, I thought we should have two people running 7 days a week, and they're running, I believe, 8:30 to 2:30 Monday through Friday, and 9 to 3 on Saturday and Sunday. So we're now open 7 days a week. Leslie Bedingfield is running it, and the day after we started it, Leslie tested positive. So, but I know Leslie, she's probably running it from home. And so we do appreciate her service, but we wanted to get her some help and be able to provide additional reliable times for county employees and their households to get tested if they needed it. So I'd like approval for that one, please. Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Moulton. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Number 16, Daniela Martinez. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to read all four of them, if that's all right.
Yes, sir.
And then there are 3 variances, then I'll read the variances and identify it for each employee for the record.
Yes, sir.
You watch me and make sure I don't mess it up, please.
Okay, yes, sir.
New employee Cassandra Rutherford, LVN, position temporary part-time COVID team, pay rate $35 per hour, salary budget area 012-487-505, physical drug test not applicable, start date 01/19/2022. New employee Wendy Camacho, LVN, position temporary part-time COVID team, pay rate $35 per hour, salary budget area 012-487-505, physical drug test not applicable. That start date is 02/03/2022. New employee Brandy Fournier, EMT, temporary part-time. All is the same on Brandy Fournier as the ones before, except the pay rate is $25 hourly, and the start date's 1/23. And on the existing employee, Evelyn Martinez, EMT, position temporary part-time COVID team, pay rate $25 per hour. All else is the same, but the start date's 1/22/22. And the reason we identify this existing employee, that'll be a separate pay category because this Ms. Martinez is already employed as an EMT with the ambulance service, but she's apparently doing this in her spare time.
Yes.
That right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's correct.
so would you like to address those 4, please?
The
You wanna
last,
do Mr. Martinez, the last one? There's 5.
I'm sorry, I didn't read the last. Thank you very much. Existing employee David Martinez, EMT, and actually I think David's a paramedic, and he's with the ambulance service, and he's got all the same parameters as the other people, and his start date's 1/22/2022.
yes, Ms. Bedingfield, of course, has set all this up. She has made contact with all these people, and these are the people that she has chosen. And she spoke with me about it, and I trust her decision for approval for all of these to be hired to help with the COVID testing, because I know that they're running, I think at the beginning it was like 30 a day within her little time frame from the morning till about 1, and I think the other day was like 50 plus a day. So this would definitely be beneficial and helpful for Atascosa County.
And where do they call to set up an appointment?
I know that, I think Robbie had
We
sent out an
published it
email to
somewhere.
everybody.
So,
It's a 569 number that you call or text.
okay,
Judge,
all right.
Judge, and I just bring up, it's not a big deal, and it's coming out of code funds, but these that are EMT that are gonna use their spare days off to work, that will probably incur overtime, because they normally make overtime with their EMT positions. And because they are county employees, it will be, that will probably be overtime too. Because our work week is Monday through Sunday to determine overtime. So if any of them work, it's a good chance that all of that time will be overtime, just to make you aware.
Well, thank you. Just make sure we're legal.
Yes, yes. And it's coming out of the code that CRL over.
ARP funds, yeah.
So I just wanted everyone to know that it would be more than likely overtime.
Okay, thank you.
So moved. So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Perez for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Riley. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. I know Ms. Bedingfield really appreciates.
Ma'am?
I said I know Ms. Bedingfield really appreciates all the help. She's
Well,
busy.
she actually argued with me. She said she didn't need the help, and I said,
Yes.
yes, you do. And please let us do this for you. And when I told her she'd still be in charge of it, she felt better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
She's a,
She's a trooper.
yes, that's right.
Thank you so much.
That's right.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Number 17, Tracy Barrera, discuss and take appropriate action concerning the approval of disbursement of pretrial diversion funds as authorized by Article 102.0121 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, and approval of a check to be written for pretrial miscellaneous fund line item 053-400-625 in the amount of $10,500, being a quarterly payment for services provided to Atascosa by the CSCD as specified in the interlocal agreement. Payment will be released after Trent Rowell in the county attorney's office has reviewed and approved it. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. This is our quarterly payment, and Trent said it's good to go, so.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Riley. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 18, Tracy Barrera, discuss and take appropriate action concerning the payment to Harris Western Center for 60 by 80 by 16 Mueller building in the amount of $49,800 for road and bridge precinct 2 yard. This payment is budgeted for and charged to the 2021 capital outlay budget, line 012-468-707. Ms. Barrera.
This was budgeted. Commissioner Knowlton had taken possession of it in 2021 in December. So asking if we could make, being that it's out of capital outlay, anything charged to capital outlay, I have to bring before Commissioners Court. So just need an approval.
Motion by Commissioner Knowlton, second by Commissioner Riley. As I read the authorized purposes of the ARP funds, I believe that this would qualify under infrastructure. Can we move this money at a later date and reimburse ourselves out of the ARP funds?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to consider the rest of the money we expend out there to come out of the ARP funds.
Okay.
And we'll bring that to court, of course. That has
Yes.
to come here. Not for me, but I mean, I'm just suggesting that direction to save the county the money.
Part of this discussion, very shortly, within the next few weeks, we're going to be starting, today we're having a survey done, and we're starting a fence this week, and the foundation should be laid within the next 2 weeks, so this is going to come up very quickly, just for conversation.
It wasn't appropriate earlier. I was going to mention you were talking about your tanks having this and that, but they're not your tanks anymore.
No, they're not.
I just,
By the way, my new tanks will be enclosed in metal, so.
okay. Which we can pay for out of ARP funds. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 20, Tracy Barrera, discuss and take appropriate action on approving the annual software renewal 02/28/2022 and 02/27/2023 for IBM hardware, $1,396.79, and software, $2,658.78. Maintenance coverage for our current financial software for a total amount of $4,055.57. See attached. Ms. Barrera.
Judge, I believe you skipped 19.
Did I skip one?
Yes, sir.
I certainly did. Let's go ahead and do this one since I read it, if that's all right with you, Ms. Barrera.
Absolutely.
So any discussion or questions on this software renewal?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Knowlton, second by Commissioner Perez. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Back to 19. Tracy Barrera, discuss and take appropriate action concerning the annual lease payment to the Motorola Solutions Credit Company, LLC, for Atascosa Sheriff Dispatch Project in the amount of $149,164.24. This is a payment 4 of 6. This payment is budgeted for and charged to the 2022 capital outlay budget, line item 012-468-707. Ms. Barrera.
Yes, I'm just asking for approval to charge it to our capital outlay budget.
Motion by Commissioner Perez. Second by Commissioner Knowlton. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 21 is discuss and take appropriate action concerning the following 2021 budget line item adjustments and or budget amendments. I'm not going to read them into the record because they were
posted for the public.
They were individually typed into the agenda, which was released and posted according to law, and Mr. Rowell has ruled, and bless his heart, that I don't have to read them all. So,
Just for clarification, this is it's not changing the budget, it's simply zeroing out different account balancing them.
Exactly. We're not changing anything as far as budget-wise. All it is, these are line item adjustments within each budget.
and this is still for fiscal year ending,
Yes, this is all for prior year,
12/31,
for 2021. Yes.
just for the record, okay?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Knowlton. Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 22, that we're right? Yep. Number 22, discuss, review, and take action to accept and approve invoices and payroll. The payroll is $2,178,508.99, and there is a small payroll item that is not the small payroll, but it's an item that an error was made on. They ran through on the small payroll, which is, or was it added to this other one? So it's added to this first one that I'm read out. So this one's added to this one. It's for $3,577.31.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Gillespie. The error is because there was an employee that was retiring, and somehow didn't get paid for their last amount of pay, and they got it straightened out. So, any discussion or questions on this? All right, and then, so we're approving this payroll and the bills that are already signed, and we have no live checks?
No, sir.
No live checks.
Commissioner Pettis, was your motion for both the invoices and payroll?
Yes.
Okay.
Never seconded.
Motion by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Riley. Discussion?
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Perez, and then I second.
Oh,
Perez and Knowlton.
Thank you. Motion, let me correct that. Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Knowlton.
Sir, I and the clerks think it was I that seconded it.
Yep.
It was.
You gotta have it right for the record,
Now,
sir.
let the record show that we have 2 seconds, because that's legal. Then I don't want any fights here, you know.
I don't want ugly faces.
You get ugly face?
Be good. Are y'all good?
So who's gonna be the second?
Mark can be the
I'll
second.
take it.
Okay, all right.
It's not a competition, sir, it's just you gotta be legal.
Everybody happy?
Look over there.
All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So now, this is the meeting where we approve reports, and we have,
All reports except for Constable 4. And like we mentioned before, he had surgery and he's been out, so.
which,
And I didn't reach out
is
to
it
him.
December that's missing on his? It's not marked in here about months not submitted.
Yes, that's correct. It's December that he's missing, so.
Okay, we have one, and the inmate fund has no records by it. Does it need to be filled in?
Yeah, I'll take care of all that.
It's here?
Yes.
So, sorry, I almost looked at it, so I think that's a first, that they're all here, but it's very close.
Yeah.
So,
No, we've,
good job by all the departments, and we need a motion to approve the reports. Motion by Commissioner Knowlton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Riley. Any discussion, comments? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. I'm going to move real quick before we got any more arguments.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Update and take appropriate action concerning judge, commissioners, and other county elected officials, training court certification, record any hours and certificates in the commissioner's court minutes and other documents not related to education needing to be filed in court records. Is there anybody that has anything they wish to add for the public record at this time? All right, being none, then we'll move on to comments from Commissioners Court. The next regular Commissioners Court meeting, I'm sorry, I asked for comments on the last one, but that was on the minutes, on the certifications. Are there any comments outside of that any commissioners need to add at this time?
Yes, sir. I would like to make some announcements regarding the progress for Precinct 2's anticipated move to the Lila area. During the last week, we took possession officially of the property, and since then, with some help from property than there was the first time we cleaned it up. So there, I'm not explaining it, but there are 5 or 6 dumpsters out there as we speak being loaded. We should finish the cleanup this week. Friday, we have the septic tank. They'll collapse it and fill it today. And motor graders are out there as soon as the trash is removed. We'll start leveling it out. We should very quickly begin the construction. Let me let everyone know, if you get a chance, go by and take a look. This was an eyesore and a health issue for many, many years, as I understand it. More than 30 years is what I was told. Several people stopped by and thanked us for cleaning it. We're almost done, so. Let everyone know. If you get a chance, go by the JP2 building, take a look, you'll be impressed.
Anything else from anybody? Being none, we are adjourned. Next meeting is Monday, February 14th, regular meeting.